Allison.
And this is
Books Uncorked.
Hi, friend.
Hello.
Hey.
So,
So.
I'm super pumped to be here with you guys.
I'm not. I'm just
She's
kidding.
such a bitch.
I am.
Well, how's life?
It's
ladies?
It's okay. It's been better.
Has it been worse?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The answer to that's normally yes. It
No.
normally brings it back up, but
Yeah.
that hasn't worked.
Today's a little bit better, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with my friends.
Yay.
Yeah. Who are you hanging out with? I'm just kidding.
Oh my
Take
god.
off my vest.
Yeah, it's
School
too
ended this
crinkly.
week. That's a fucking hooray. I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
School ended this week.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done talking.
It's cool. I'm
She's
used
just
to it.
mocking me.
Oh, there we go again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, B, how was your week? Brittany?
My week was really good. We had an uncountable amount of Christmas parties at work this week. It was great.
That does sound great.
We played cornhole a lot, which cornhole is played a lot in my office anyway. That's a lot's not accurate. Cornhole is played in my office.
Okay.
We played and then Kimmy and I played cornhole today, which we never play cornhole in the office. We also play cornhole with a homemade board that's not standard. It's one of the products we manufacture or we sell. Well, we don't actually sell or manufacture this product. It goes with the products we sell and manufacture. But Kimmy and I played. Kimmy would like to say she won, but I know in my heart of hearts that I won.
Kimmy, you went down in flames, and I'll be the first to tell
But I
you.
mean, really, Kimmy beat me by 20 points.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh
know
my
that you could
gosh. Never mind, Kimmy. Brittany's a liar.
But I won.
How?
What?
Because I'm a winner.
Uh-huh.
And I win.
Okay.
That's how we play. But yeah, my week was good.
Did you talk to the boy that you're talking to at all this week?
Kind of. He's still home for Christmas.
That was gross. Sorry, guys.
I'm just, it's hard to be out of the sweet crush phase whenever you're still not really hanging out because the cons are outweighing the pros here.
Right.
So I'm trying to not be completely over it, but if I'm being honest, I'm 90% over it.
You know how I got over the cons of my relationship? That's not really a relationship.
I do, but I'm curious what you're going to say, how you did that.
Yeah, I want to know.
I accidentally got pregnant, and then you have to just deal with the cons.
Well,
Oh.
I'm going to try not to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's how my husband decided
You
he wanted to
accident-
marry me. So
I was like, you accidentally got pregnant, but it turned out better for you than it did for me. Wait, our babies are both great. Her baby's not better than mine, or vice versa.
They're equally as great.
They are so cute.
Wow, I didn't think I'd ever hear mothers agree that their child's not better than someone else.
I think it's because we both love each other's child.
Oh.
I love Lillian, and
Annalise kicks y'all's kids' ass.
she's an aunt. So
I mean, you aren't with her every day, so you get to be yeah.
I'm just kidding. Annalise, Nate, and Lily are probably on the same level.
Annalise is littler, which does make her cuter.
It does.
Also, she just loves me so much. My brother, she just loves everyone so much.
How old is she?
She's 8 months.
Oh my god, I need another baby so bad.
7 months? Ooh, that's bad. 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
But she's just
It's hard to
learning
keep
how to
up.
kind of mirror.
It's hard to keep up with it when they're
So my brother
little.
did that thing where you put your finger on your lips. You guys could see it, but
familiar.
our listeners couldn't. And she's he goes, now you try. And she tried to do it. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's a smart fucking baby.
She said she'll do, if you say, yay, Annalise, she'll clap.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
And
But now, but saying now you try, I think my kid would be like, I don't know what that sentence means. Can you say it again?
But I mean, and when she knows you're really proud of her, she'll give you a hug around the neck. It's, oh my gosh. I love her so much.
Don't cry.
Brittany's like super duper happy right now, and we're like about to talk about a serial killer.
I don't think I've ever been so happy to talk about murder.
So are we ready to like kind of move towards the book? Are we done with our bullshit section?
Yeah.
That was so fast.
I don't want
Anything
to
else?
talk about my week, so
Okay.
I pass.
You don't have to.
Well, this week we read The Stranger Beside Me.
But first, let's talk about what we're drinking tonight.
Oh, everybody's drinking what I made them. So here, I'll just give a quick description. It's a shit ton of rum.
By shit ton, she means an entire mother effing bottle.
Half a pitcher of Sprite. Count to 3 seconds and pour pineapple juice. Count to 3 seconds, pour orange juice. Pour the entire bottle of rum. Then, in your cup, fill it a quarter of the way up with cranberry juice. Fill the mixture up to the brim. You've got holiday punch. And that's what we're drinking tonight.
So festive. It's delicious.
It is delicious. I'm worried about myself. Like, am I going to go into a coma?
Does anybody feel drunk yet?
No.
I actually don't even a little bit.
I think that's my problem right now.
I'm just so scared it's going to sneak the shit up on us. And we are going to be. If you hear a hard turn in this podcast.
I'm ready for the hard turn. That's my
Me
favorite
too. I'm
part.
like, where's my hard turn? Let's go.
That's my favorite part. Well, I was drinking wine by myself in my car last night. I was not driving. I was sitting in my driveway.
She wasn't driving. That's where us mothers have to drink.
All of a sudden...
Also, her keys weren't in the vehicle.
No, they were not. They were, like, outside my door. I just wanted to drink.
By herself. And she's a mom, and she gets to do that.
Yeah. I stood up to get out of my car.
Her daughter was also being watched.
She was asleep in the house.
With adults.
She's asleep. She's fine. She's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Just want to be, man, we sound like we're making shit up, but all of this is real. We're just really worried someone's going to think.
Yeah. No, I promise. It was totally, I've never done this before. I had nowhere to drink by myself and wallow.
All the families in town for the holidays.
Yeah. Nowhere to wallow in my self-pity but my car.
I'm 100% sure we have listeners that can relate to this.
Yep. So,
I can relate to
yeah,
this.
hard turn, walked out of the car, and I was like, whoa.
She stood up, and it hit her real good.
It's so funny.
So I'm just ready for that to happen right now.
It will.
It's so funny.
I
Okay.
need it.
Allison,
Yes.
tell us about the book.
Okay, so this week was my pick. Picked The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. This is a book written by Anne, who was a friend of serial killer Ted Bundy, who is one of the most prolific serial killers in America. Right up there with good old
John Wayne Gacy?
John Wayne Gacy. That's our clown guy, right?
Yep.
The Golden State Killer, I would say, even more recent.
I know who none of these people are.
Brittany doesn't keep up with true crime like Berkley and I do.
Brittany.
I do think
and probably even the Green River Killer. Like, he's pretty up there. Candyman. I mean,
Are we just going to list everyone who's murdered someone? I know this guy.
Do you want to go?
Just kidding.
Do you want to hop in there? I'm just saying,
no
like,
idea.
when you think of serial killers in America, Ted comes up along with those names.
It's
And
the first person people think about, but like people really don't
To be
even know
honest,
that much
out
about
of all
him.
of these people that you've talked about, Ted Bundy's the only one. I've heard of Golden State Killer, but I literally have absolutely no knowledge of what it is.
That's
Other
probably
than I
because it's more
assume it
recent.
happened either at Golden State University or just in the Golden State.
It's Golden State area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to note that Anne Rule was friends with Ted Bundy before. It's debatable whether he had killed anyone or not, but before all of this really started.
Right.
Before, like, the murders that are confirmed took place. So she knew him really through this entire process, which is, I think, an important kind of detail.
Absolutely. So, yes, that is the book this week. So, let's move.
This is our spoiler alert.
Oh,
Honestly, how do you spoil this? I don't think you really can.
spoiler alert, he kills a bunch of fucking people.
Yeah, like...
It's sad.
Also, though,
Also-
I will tell you... Well, go ahead.
Maybe if you are sensitive to graphic content, if you have triggers such as
I mean, violent murders.
violent murder. Yeah, I was literally about to say.
I will say I'm fairly sensitive to that kind of stuff, and the book was difficult to read, but I don't think this will be, because I don't think we can be near as graphic as a police report.
No.
Right. So, Brittany, when did you finish the book?
I finished the book today. Now, I think it's important to note that we had a week less than normal. We are recording a week early. I listened diligently. This is a really long fucking book. And it was torturous, literally, because he's torturing people. Mm-hmm. And I disliked every second, but I listened to all of it.
Good job. Burke.
So I did not finish up the book, but I only had 4 hours left on it. So I finished most of it, and then I Wikipedia'd the rest before I got here.
Good for you. I listened
Honestly,
all the way up until I had 2.5 hours left, and that was right before Brittany walked in my door.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So I didn't finish the book either.
I think almost the last 4 hours is basically after he is convicted, and it's basically just the back and forth.
It's
Is that
literally,
okay?
she says, this is the synopsis at the, yeah, it's,
Kind of. So this book was published multiple times.
yes.
She published it originally with an ending, and then Ted got a stay of execution. More stuff happened. She published it again. So I think 4 times is how many times she published it.
Yes.
So each of those times she adds a chapter. There's 3 additional chapters at the end. Honestly, for me, that was my favorite part of the book. But that's how my brain works. I like to see like the analytical side of it.
Right.
I
So I think
hated
it's
him
important-
the whole book, so
Such
I
an
was
engineer.
excited to see how he died.
I think it's important to say, though, that Berkley and I finished the original book. We got the first.
You didn't finish the
first
book that you
edition.
picked.
I finished all the way up to the 2nd edition.
You didn't finish the book that you picked.
It was 18 hours, and I had a hell of a week.
That's true.
We really want to get into it.
Allison just took this to a level of like extremeness. I was just giving her shit.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah.
We skipped it in bullshit. Yeah, I've had a heck of a week. Most stressful part of my week was, so my grandfather died. It's okay. I'm fine. He was 92. I don't know why I looked at you like you would know.
I know. I was like, I don't have an answer.
And I think my face snapped at you, and I'm sorry, but
Your face didn't just snap at me. The whole body, your
The whole
voice,
body was like,
everything was like.
Okay.
Brittany just told me that, like, it was like I just
I'm sorry.
cursed at Allison for a few minutes.
I think it's just, I still haven't like properly processed everything. And on top of reading this book, also, I sang at my grandpa's funeral, which was really, that's how I felt about that. And I had to memorize the song, and literally I didn't memorize it until right before I walked on the stage. So it was just a long week.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I didn't finish it.
That's fair. Okay, let's move into the book topics. So we have talked about before how we divide up the books a little bit. You guys should like email us, DM us, and let us know if you want to hear more about that, because right now I'm just going to kind of skip it over. But our first topic is like Ted Bundy's family / his like early life.
His mom got knocked up.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start.
do we remember how old she was?
Berkley and I have been there. 18.
Yeah. 18.
18.
So by today's standards, not ridiculously young.
No.
No. I mean, you're
For
still
an
knocked
unwed
up.
mother, yeah.
But we still all know it was an oopsie doops. But
Yeah, but
we're good with it.
even then, like, people got married all the time at 18 and had kids, but, like, this was just, like, a...
It's because she wasn't married.
Yeah, who was
They
this guy?
use illegitimate a
Some
lot in
sailor.
this book, and it's just so funny because, like, Nate's illegitimate. It's just such a funny.
I think it's important, though, because for him...
And he felt illegitimate.
Yes. Like, I think that it's as relevant as someone can feel it is. Mm-hmm. By today's standards. Back then, it was definitely relevant.
It was more of a stigma.
Yeah. But, I mean, for him, it was like saying, like, you're an amputee or something. Like, for him, it was this, like, scar he carried. Allison's laughing at the comparison, but it really is. I was trying to think of something like drastic that's
I
like...
was going to say my
What?
grandpa was an amputee. I thought it would be taking it too far.
Do you remember the conversation about your grandma?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. That she's 90, but she's dead. 89. I can't remember how old she was, but she died. Everybody's dead. It's fun.
It's okay.
I'm taking that turn now, ladies.
Man, I feel like we already need a break. It's pretty early in the podcast for it, but... okay. But so, Ted was born illegitimate. His mother went to this, like, women's home and
Popped
had
him out.
him, and then came home, and they pretended like his grandparents were his parents, and his
And
mom was his
she
sister.
was his sister.
So their family knew.
But then, as Ted got older, like, the community really knew what really happened. Mm-hmm. So before he went to school, they decided that,
It was time to go.
yeah, they needed to leave. But really, he deuced out with his sister, who was really his mom. And, I mean, then lived the rest of his life with his sister. And he kind of knew the whole time. He says...
He called her by her name or, like, sister or something, but he never called her mom. But he always knew.
Right, but that's the thing. I'm like, sisters don't take their siblings. I was like, Ted, you're a real smart guy. And for being a real smart guy, like...
Well, he said he always knew. What do you mean?
I don't know. The whole going to the courthouse and getting the documentation.
You don't get your
see if-
sister's husband's name
Yeah,
whenever
you just...
they get married.
It
Like,
was
it's
just
not-
kind of like, they fucked up. They should have told him. That was the first mistake.
I don't think that she didn't want him feeling the stigma.
If they
of being
didn't want to tell
illegitimate.
him, he should have stayed with the grandparents.
Exactly.
Odd.
Yeah.
You can't call your grandparents mom and dad
Just
your whole life.
move and tell everyone you're a widow and that this is your son.
Right. It doesn't...
That's fine.
Whatever. It's just so crazy to me that was such a... I don't know. I say that, and it's like, we all have our mental health issues, and I get it. He had a lot more than, say,
Most people.
most people, but that being such a turning point in his life for us, how aware he is kind of blows my mind. But family life was good, except for the fact that he was lied to, which we learn is very personal to Ted.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It's personal to everybody, but
No one likes to be lied to.
right.
Does not feel good.
But I mean, that does bring us to the woman in his life, because
The women, the multiple crazy. It's just insane.
he has a ton of women. But including his, like, Anne
Who wrote the book, yes.
was his friend, who we learned he was just using, which
Yeah.
kind of pissed me off.
No, 100%.
To be fair, well, I do believe he was just using her. We don't definitively know that. But also, I don't think there was anyone in his life he wasn't just using.
That's fair. That's a fair statement. But he was legit using Anne as an
outlet.
outlet, and to make, he was like, this is the woman that's going to declare me innocent. He was using her to write, because he thought that she was going to write his innocence story. Clearly, that's not what Anne did.
Can we just touch on the irony of the fact that they worked together at a suicide crisis center
Yes.
Gosh,
hotline?
yeah.
He's like
She was a
saving people's
volunteer and he
lives.
was an intern or something.
Well, she says at the very beginning of the book, she said, it was hard for me to accept.
I think she says imagine. I don't think she even ever, not until the very end of the book does she say accept.
Okay, so it's hard for
Yeah,
me
it's
to
crazy.
imagine how many people he was convicted of killing, because I saw him save,
Yeah.
the same amount, if not more, people by doing the work he did at the crisis center. That doesn't make what he did okay.
Oh, not even a little bit.
But,
Yeah, but
that was her point, was like, it's so hard for me to understand that he took human life, because we worked at a place that was
saving.
Human life is important.
The irony.
But so, I'm sorry.
At the crisis center, though, he started dating a woman named Meg, whose name is not really Meg.
Wait, was he dating Meg then or Stephanie?
No, he was dating Meg at the crisis center.
Stephanie was already gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
right.
Stephanie had already did her shit.
I
thought we talked about Stephanie last.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Because I feel like she's the doozy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Even though it's out of order.
No, that's fine.
He was going with Meg, as my dad would say. They going together?
We need to talk about Stephanie first, though, because he flip-flops between
he does
Meg
flip-flop.
and Stephanie.
That's fair.
So Stephanie is his, like, I don't know that you could really say childhood love. Stephanie is, like, his
college
first love. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, he just loves Stephanie. Stephanie comes from, like, a well-to-do family. She's, like, she has big plans for her life. And Ted's just not high enough on the ladder for her.
But also, he never felt good enough for her either.
Yeah.
And
we don't, and I guess that's a true thing. A lot of these opinions on the women, at least in his early life, are from Ted's point of view. Like, you know this information from Anne, who's gotten it from Ted.
Right.
So, like, it's definitely skewed in Ted's favor. That might not be the right way to say that, but...
Yeah, because I feel like
from
Anne
the early
cut through
part
the
of
bullshit.
Anne's life...
Uh-huh.
Not Anne's life. Anne and Ted's friendship. That information, like the personal, like relationship information, comes from Ted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously, if I'm telling Berkley how I feel about something, I'm not going to tell her why. Well, I felt that way, but Meg really wasn't making, or Stephanie wasn't really making me feel that way. It was just me.
Here's the deal. Let's give the listeners the skinny. Ted dated Stephanie. Stephanie had long, dark hair parted in the middle, brown, and he loved her very much, and then she gave him the deuces. He wasn't mature enough for her, and he also wasn't doing enough things with his life. So she said bye.
He wasn't being ambitious enough. He was studying, I think it was like Chinese.
Yes.
Some type of Chinese language thing.
Yes,
so
and
he
she
had
was
no
like,
idea
yeah.
what he was going to do.
And, which is fair. Good job, Stephanie. Know what you want, do what you want, get what you want, girl. Except maybe not with Ted Bundy, because he's fucking crazy.
Well, she didn't. She was like, bye, bitch.
And so then he, flip-flops, decides he's going to do law and, like, changes his major, all of this stuff, and meets Meg. He's kind of interested in Meg, but nobody really compares to Stephanie, in his opinion. And him and Meg start what is probably, even though it's not his last relationship, the longest relationship he's had with a woman.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And you think different, Britt?
6 years may be right, but I think Carol Ann's relationship with him was longer. I'm going to Google it.
All right.
How about, like, relationship outside of, like...
Yeah, because
prison?
Carol Ann never literally knew him outside of jail.
While he was a rampant...
Right.
cheater.
And so...
Psychopath.
Meg was really jealous. Ted always cheated. That was their relationship. And then,
Oh,
all of a sudden,
sorry, I'm not
he
trying to
decides
touch your foot.
he's going to go to California and seal Stephanie because he can't get her out of his head.
While he's still dating Meg.
While he's still dating Meg, courts Stephanie, and she thinks that he's changed the game all the way up until he proposes to Stephanie, all while he's still dating Meg. Neither of them know about one another. And then he drops Stephanie like a bag of fucking potatoes that are hot. Like, he's just like,
Because she was like ready to marry him.
and then they go on one last trip together, or she comes out to see him. I can't remember. He went
She
to
comes
see
out to
her.
see him.
Right. So she came to see him, and he barely even talked to her. He didn't have sex with her the whole time. And then,
She says, I think she's telling Anne Rule, but maybe it's from something else. But she said she felt like he was waiting to know that he had me so that he could, like, drop me like I dropped him. That's not the exact wording she says, but, like, that's what she's saying.
About what, yeah.
And I believe it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's the perfect revenge.
It gives me chills. It chills me to my bones that he did that just so he could humiliate her the way he felt humiliated by her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's nuts. He's psycho. It's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like I can appreciate that kind of psycho.
Oh yeah, I can appreciate that kind of psycho. I cannot appreciate...
Not everything else, but like that in itself, like, genius.
I know. You kind of want to be like, dang.
He's smart.
Like,
He's a smart guy.
he is chillingly, seriously, cold-bloodedly smart. But then also, besides Meg, so Meg sticks with him forever. For fucking ever. Meg also has a daughter.
Divorced.
And
just wants to be married to Ted.
And Ted just doesn't want to be married to her.
But also doesn't want to leave her.
But then...
She's just using her.
She sticks with him until even after he's convicted of all these murders.
Mm-hmm.
And then she breaks off communication with him. And then that's when Ted... There's also some overlap with another woman, but whatever. I don't even remember that.
Carol Ann?
No. There was another lady that he was dating in jail while he was still dating Meg.
Crap, what's her name?
I don't know.
What you're talking about.
Okay. I think it... I want to say it was Stephanie, but obviously it's not Stephanie. Not
feel
the
like it was
Stephanie.
too.
A different
It was a
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
I don't know. All the fucking women in this book were blended together. They were all dumb shits.
Anyway. Then there's Carol Ann Boone, who calls Ted Bunny. So much vomit that she calls him Bunny. And...
It's really logical, though. Man, I keep yawning. I'm sorry. I'm not tired.
I am.
Ew, I think that's such a gross nickname. I don't care if your name is Bundy.
It's her cute little bunny.
Yeah, your cute little bunny that's murdered. And she knows. She knows he's being convicted.
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about that for a second? Are we
Yeah.
talking about Meg right now?
No, we're talking about Carol Ann.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to talk about? Meg, though.
Meg wrote a book. You guys don't know this.
Yes, I
because
do.
it was at the end.
I do know that,
Oh,
though.
you listened to that part?
Yeah, it's called My Life
So-
with Ted or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that what that movie
She
is about?
in the book,
No.
she says that that Ted confessed to her
Yes!
about some of the
and
murders,
that,
and she
that,
never does anything about it, right? First of all, if Ted confessed to her, he should have married her because then she can't testify against him. Idiot.
Yeah, for all the smart things he does, that was dumb.
Yeah, so I don't think he really confessed to her.
Later on,
but-
she denies that he confessed to her, though.
Yeah, because
she-
she is like, as she should be, getting
Hate
just
mail and all sorts of stuff.
like just ravaged by the public.
Uh-huh.
Which, how else could you possibly respond to
Yeah,
that?
it's absolutely. It was after the Carol Durant kidnapping that he confessed to her. And so they're like, so many things happened after Carol Durant. Like, you could have stopped it if you would have said something. You could have stopped all of these things.
To be fair, she did try to turn him in a couple times. She
Did turn him in.
Yeah.
That was the reason.
Yeah.
What?
But she,
Before
nothing.
he,
But she turned him in. I did air quotes. People can't see that. She turned him in, but she turned him in for being suspicious. She didn't turn him in saying he'd done it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if she would have said, hello,
Yeah.
my fiance fucking confessed,
Yeah. I agree.
it would have been a different story.
I know.
I think that she was super manipulated because Ted was manipulative.
Yeah.
And I'm easy manipulated myself. I would hope not to this degree, but she was wrong. She was absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
But she has her own... you know what? We can't blame her. I'm not saying we're blaming her. I'm just saying, like,
I'm
Ted
not
is...
blaming her for the murders, but yeah. I don't
Ted
know.
is the one that killed people. He's the one that murdered people. He's the one that fucked up.
But you're responsible for your reactions.
Absolutely.
So,
but
Allison, if you tell me you murdered someone,
you're going to help me hide the body.
Yeah, it depends on if it's one someone or multiple someones.
Wait, we should not be talking about.
If you
Berkley's like, don't tell them.
if you murder multiple people, you better bet your ass I'm going straight to the cops. Probably Chris. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I won't go to Chris. I'll just go to the police station.
Don't worry, I got your back, Allison.
I wouldn't. Thank you, Berkley. Jeez.
If it's one person,
Now I know who to call.
potentially two, I could help you.
Thank you.
More than two is a few, and I'm out.
I like that. More than two is a few. I like it.
Yeah, if you kill more than two people, I'm out. Or two separate murders. If it's two people at once, I can handle it. If you kill one person, wait a couple years and kill someone else, I don't know though. But then I'm in. I'm already in. I've already helped you hide one body.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Honestly, then
you have
I'm
to
fucking
help.
stuck.
You
I
have
just
to
told
help.
Allison she can kill more than one person as long as she kills one by first.
Okay, but let's talk about Carol Ann really quick.
Yeah, really quick.
A, bitch is crazy. B, they tricked Florida State into marrying them in the middle of a criminal trial.
Kind of genius.
Crazy fucking shit. C, she got knocked up while Ted was in prison.
Where conjugal visits were not allowed, so it's kind of impressive.
Yeah, you just had to pay off the guard, apparently. D, there is a little Bundy walking around. But it's a girl.
Do you think?
Are
she
you saying
keeps the
women are
last
less
name?
capable than men?
I was
Oh, I'm just
saying
kidding.
that there's a little Bundy walking around. I didn't want them to picture Ted himself.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Ted because probably she has long hair. I don't know what her twist is.
Probably.
Hopefully not brown parted down the middle. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It's probably exactly what she looks like.
But yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this man manipulated women up and down. I mean, obviously he had skills because he tricked a ton of women into getting into his car, which was the last ride they'd ever take.
Fake it till you make it, man. He faked it.
And he
Like,
did
and
make
he
it
had so much
straight to jail,
confidence.
into the electric chair.
Just the way he would freaking just like convince these women, like without like
You need
I
to
could
come
trust
with
this
me.
Guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Because
with
he
him.
was handsome. Gosh, why does Ted have to be attractive? I know we don't want to talk about it, but we have to. Ted is hot.
I think he's average,
Maybe he's...
but like I like average guys though. My husband is above average.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, love you, Josh. But
He is
know,
it's
it just-
unsettling. Because like, I felt okay saying he's attractive.
I would trust him.
It's unsettling knowing that he's attractive because when I think about all of the heinous things that he did, I'm so bothered by the fact that he's attractive. Brittany, you're being really quiet. Is it because you don't want to say that Ted Bundy's attractive?
I'm sorry, it's because I was Googling Ted Bundy's daughter.
Oh.
I'll get off my phone now, though. I apologize. It was
Does she have
inappropriate
like?
of me.
I want her to be on like an ID.
I just
special.
really want to know what her hair looks like. That's the only reason I'm in this.
Oh
I
my
promise.
God.
Okay.
Brittany's just making sure it's not parted down
I
the middle.
do think Ted Bundy is vaguely attractive, but I'm not attracted to him. But I wouldn't be afraid of him if I saw him on the street.
Yeah.
More so than I'm afraid of every man, which might be why I'm single. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, that's part of my, like, I have serious issues when it comes to men.
Because all Allison listens to is fucking true crime and the books we pick.
Because I also am just very conscious of my surroundings. Anyway.
As you should be.
Because
Everyone should
people
be.
are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes, just know that we think that you're going to kill us.
Yeah.
We're just prepared for you to stab us at any minute.
Yeah. I'm probably not as like careful as I should be because I have this feeling like, okay, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm 180 pounds, like it's gonna be a little bit more of a challenge to get someone like me.
Berkley would fucking take you down.
But like
I've seen her on the basketball court.
like our
She has
friend-
no regrets.
Yeah, Kelsey being like 4'11", like
And
110
110.
pounds. Yeah, like she's gonna get snatched.
I know. Somebody's going to snatch Kelsey because
Yeah.
she thinks she's... I mean, Kelsey
Yeah.
would get kidnapped so that she could be raised by somebody who was sad that they don't have a child. And then they get there and Kelsey would be like, I'm 24. They'd be like, ah, shit, we didn't even get a kid.
Now what do we do with her?
Now what do we do with her? Shit. And that's how Kelsey became a maid.
Yep.
A handmaid. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my gosh.
No. Not Kelsey.
Okay, well, long story short, there's some pictures of a girl who does have long brown hair with a part down the middle, and it's unconfirmed whether she's really her or not. But let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back to this.
Okie
We'll do
dokie.
some more research.
Yes. Okay, we're back.
Hey, hey.
But essentially, Rose is now 37. And that's pretty much all we know about her.
Yeah. Which is good, I think.
Yeah, good for her. I hope
Hi,
she's living a
Rose.
really great
Yeah.
life.
I really just want to know what her hair looks like. I bet it's blonde. If I were her, I'd be a blonde. Redhead, anything but brunette.
But, I mean, we haven't really talked about Ted's crimes.
Yeah, let's move into that. So, the numbers are iffy. Ted admitted to, how many did I say earlier?
36.
30, well,
He admitted to 35.
but he kind of, every time he would tell the stories, some would be disconjointed. And there's almost no doubt that there's some he left out. Honestly, maybe not even intentionally, maybe intentionally, but not to give him more credit than he's due. I'm saying I don't think he intentionally left people out. I think he just didn't know.
Yeah, but he's also said that it was in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So, unless you're keeping a list, the human brain, memory-wise, isn't that great. And, I can't even...
He describes them almost like a manic episode sometimes. In his last hours, he described one of his murders as after the aftermath was a frantic kind of thing. Not during it, but after the aftermath. So I would almost wonder if you felt like something was scarring, you would forget it. I don't think he felt like most of his murders were scarring because he obviously had some sort of shit fucked up.
Yeah.
Not to give less credit than is due to mental issues, because those are a real thing and are important to recognize that they're a real thing, but I don't give a shit what you say about it.
No, he was fucked.
Yeah.
He was for sure fucked. Way up.
Yeah.
I think the most chilling part about Ted is that, so we have the McDonald triad, right? That tells us, as human beings, we have issues, is for psychopaths. So the McDonald triad is wetting the bed, arson, and killing animals, right?
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. I've never heard of this, but I believe you.
Me either.
So maybe it's not the McDonald triad and I just want french fries, but I'm pretty sure.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I kind of want french fries now. Damn it, Allison.
Sorry. I'm pretty sure it's the
So
McDonald
many
triad.
carbs today.
If you know, let us know. But he does not betray any of the signs,
Mm-hmm.
And that's terrifying. Think about the women who got in his car. So what Ted would do was he would...
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about that.
He would...
He would play... Do you mind if I...
No, go ahead.
Okay. He would, pretend as if he was in need of some way most of the time. So,
He
whether
played
that
at our
was
emotions.
asking directions... sometimes he put on fake casts on his arm or his leg.
Sling.
He would wear a sling. He would use crutches. Specifically in Florida, he did crutches and then had a suitcase. A briefcase he was trying to carry. So he would play on women's emotions of trying to help this handsome stranger who was obviously in need.
Right.
And I relate to that a lot because I think that's a lot of people are that type of person. I'm not like patting myself on the back, but I just mean that like,
Oh yeah, I'm 100% that kind of
like
person.
if you see someone struggling, like especially now, like I was on crutches and a scooter for so long with my leg that like I'm like I for sure needed help multiple times.
Yeah.
And you're looking out your window a lot. It's freaking me out. We're talking about a murderer.
I'm sorry. There's a headlight. I just want to see who's coming up.
Okay.
Do you want me to lock the door?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's so funny that that's like y'all guys' first instinct is to like try and help because like I'm always like on like I've always got a guard up and I do my best to like just avoid eye contact with every single person. So I'm not confronted with having to like be in a situation where like I feel like I'm being pressured into like. Not that if I see someone needing help with a door that's like on crutches, like yes, I will open up the door, but like I don't go out of my way to like, oh, do you need help? Like, no,
yeah,
I don't do that. I won't. I'll be like,
it's funny.
Stranger danger.
That's. I mean, obviously, you would have lived.
But seriously,
well, I don't have brown hair part down the middle, so
yeah. But Brittany does.
I do. I just realized that.
I was waiting for you to realize that. I realized it earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you are in his.
I'm not skinny.
Wait,
fine.
does he have a preference for skinny women?
I don't know,
They
but
were all
they're
pretty
always
small.
beautiful, and a lot of them were petite.
You're beautiful.
They always
I
mention
am
that they were usually
definitely beautiful, but I'm not classically.
Aw, yes, you
Back
are.
in the day. Yeah, I mean,
Brittany, you're very beautiful.
Don't discredit yourself.
You would for
Just
sure
miss.
be able to be one of Ted's victims.
that's where I want to be in life.
But for real, okay, so let's talk about just. I mean,
Oh, but then he'd lure him to his car and then he'd kill him,
oh yeah.
or
Well, he wouldn't kill
or
them in
knock
his
him
car.
unconscious.
He
and
would.
then-
He would take them to another location and then.
We know that sometimes, but not always.
That's fair.
That's what really bothers me the most about all of this is that we don't really know.
Blessed be to God
So,
that we don't know, honestly.
actually, there's a woman who escaped Ted who did not come out until 2018.
But did she really?
Yes. And
Like, come out publicly.
Rhonda Stapley, yes, was abducted and raped by Bundy in 1974. And essentially what had happened was she was
What happened was
on her way. This is not in the book. This is what happened to her, though. She was on her way back to the college campus. Somebody pulled over Ted, who we now know, and he pulled over. He said, "Do you need a ride? Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going back to campus." She remembered thinking he was very handsome, and
which every survivor
yes,
that had seen him
says this.
says that.
And she got in his car. She was excited because she liked him. He wasn't going in the direction of the campus. She says so to him. She said, "Oh, where are we going?" He says, "I actually have to make a pit stop somewhere." And she said, "Okay." And he pulled over into a wooded area with a picnic table. And he turned to her and said, "Now I'm going to kill you." And she says specifically, when he turned to me, I thought he was going to kiss me. And he turned to her instead and said, "I'm going to kill you." So throughout the traumatic experiences that I won't go into detail about, she wakes up and remembers looking at the dome light of the car. So, and he was wrestling around in the back. So she stood up and just ran, but her pants were around her ankles. So she caught and fell and then ended up falling into a river that carried her away, that she still thinks that, like, that's why she survived, because she fell into the river that carried her away.
And she didn't go to the police after or anything?
No. So what happened was she ended up having she had I don't know what you call it, but she had PTSD, obviously. But recently she had an attack. I don't know. An episode. And came forward.
Wow.
So it's just insane. I mean, but then you've got another survivor, the one he kidnapped at the mall, Carol Duranch. And, I mean, he is clever as hell.
Yeah.
It came up to this woman in the shopping mall, said, hey, your car was... what kind of car do you drive? She said... I don't know.
Note to women, never answer that. Ask what they're looking for.
Yep.
Nope, that's not what I drive. Oh, yeah, that's my license plate number.
Stranger danger.
Anyway, also, just say, oh, I'll just go to the police and the mall. I'll go to mall headquarters, wherever that is. See Paul Blart.
Not that we're saying any of these victims are at fault.
Oh, they're not. They're absolutely not. Just
We, unfortunately, now...
have to be aware.
We have to... You can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Which is such a terrible thing to think.
Yeah. No,
Don't trust
obviously these
Allison,
women...
because I'll help her hide your body later.
These women are not at fault at all. And that's what I said earlier. It's Ted. Ted did it. Ted is at fault. And he talked to her and got her to walk out into the parking lot. She even says, I questioned it 2 times. 2 times. But he still was smooth enough to get her into his vehicle.
She never got into his vehicle, did she?
Yes.
He said I need to take you to the station.
I need to take you to police
Because
Oh, I
headquarters.
remember that. You're right.
So what happened?
I remember. He made her undress and all that shit, right?
No. He didn't make her undress.
She got in those other people's car?
No, she got in his car.
I know, but once she got out of his car in front of like an elementary school or something, she ran in front of someone else's car, got in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just got confused about the undress part.
That's okay. But, I mean...
Holy Jules. The dog groaning over there. She was like, yo.
Ugh. But, seriously, it's crazy. Like...
But that's an interesting part to get to because Carol is why he ended up in jail the first time.
Right.
Which was not the first time he was arrested, though. He was arrested for having burglary tools. He was evading arrest, and he had burglary tools in his car, which were actually not the tools he used for burglary. It was the tools he used for murder.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
This one really kind of like blew my, like, what are the chances that some guy's walking out of his house at like 2:00 in the morning and sees you lurking?
And that's what he's doing. I fully believe he was stalking his next victim.
He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was lurking a street, like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just what, you know.
And Anne believes that none of his victims were by chance. She thinks that unless it's in the last 2 hours of the book, he doesn't ever talk about stalking them.
So it doesn't say that he necessarily stalked all of his victims, but the guy, I think Kemple says...
Wait, is Kemple an interviewer? Because Ed
Yes.
Kemper is a serial killer. So I just need to make sure...
Robert Kemple. Keppel.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure you weren't comparing him to another serial killer.
No. He says something about comparing him to... It might have also been an FBI. It was in the final interviews right before he was executed. So something about he was definitely, like Anne says, the comparison made very early on before they knew it was Ted Bundy about being a person who stalks his victims like a vampire, I think they compare him to. Was
Ted himself
we had no
compared
idea
himself
how
to a vampire.
true we had no idea how true those early like expectations were. So they don't really say that he definitively states that he stalks them, but it very strongly suggests that he did. Like that he says he did.
Right.
But like he does, I don't think he ever at least in the reportings of this book, doesn't say. I'm interested to read the Kempel's book.
Yeah.
But I probably won't because I don't want to think about murder all the time.
Well,
I love it.
I do too.
That's all I can think about all the time.
But so he went to jail the first time for Carol Durant's kidnapping.
Well, he went to jail for
sorry.
for having the burglary tools, and then
he was released.
because he went to jail for that. She saw him in a lineup of some sorts, and then she picked him out and said, "That's the man that kidnapped me." And that's how he got in jail the first time. And that's also how he escaped the first time, by jumping out a freaking 6-story window.
So he kidnapped her in late 1974 and was convicted of her kidnapping in March of 76. So like a little over a year later, he was convicted. So there's like 2 confirmed murders between there. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, but he was actually arrested after he kidnapped her for the burglary tools. I'm sorry. I think I confused that.
No, you didn't say that because I would have corrected you.
Okay. Yeah, but so then he was convicted of kidnapping her. Oh. No, there's 2 between her kidnapping and the conviction. There's 2 confirmed murders, but there's 4 suspected, including at least one that he admitted to. One of the suspected ones. There's a lot of murders that he said he dumped his victims in rivers, and because they never recovered remains, I guess they don't consider those confirmed. I realize that I am not an expert on this. But so there's 2 confirmed murders, and then there's 4 suspected between them. Like, how
So for a total
crazy.
of 6.
Yeah.
This man was absolutely on a rampage.
Absolutely.
He was rampaging before he really got into his own rampage mode.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. It's
So-
like,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's insane the amount of women that he killed within the amount of time that he killed them, without even talking about, things like the Chi Omega murders,
Yeah.
which were rampage on Red Bull.
So when he was in court for the kidnapping, he escaped and then was caught 10 days later. Then he's like sent to jail for the murder, or I'm sorry, for the kidnapping. And then he freaking escapes. So the first escape is not really that impressive. Like, he jumped out a window, which like is a big deal, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't take a whole lot of like forethought and planning.
But it did.
How?
So he had to convince them, because he was serving as his own lawyer at that time. So he had to convince them that A, he wanted unlimited phone calls to people without it being recorded. B, he
I
needed
think that's kind of standard, though.
to
For
have
a lawyer, to be a lawyer, because
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, also, so he could have planned things with people on the phone. I'm not saying
but
he did.
He didn't have any help. In those 10 days, he screwed up left and right in those 10 days.
Right. They do suspect that he did tell someone, though.
Mm-hmm. Probably freaking Meg/Liz.
Yeah,
That
probably.
Meg Liz.
But also, he said, I need to not have shackles on because I have to be able to move freely in the library.
Mm-hmm.
He needs access to the library, and
He also always made friends with the jailers and everyone controlling him he made friends with, which was crazy.
right.
But to be
I'm
fair,
just saying
in this
that
sense, they're suspecting him of kidnapping. Like, they don't...
he knew. That's why he ran.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that everything else was going to come out. But he planned this escape well for the escape part. Mm-hmm. He did not plan this escape well because the after escape part.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I going to do now?
He lived and learned.
Yeah, because then he fucking escaped again.
It was insane that he escaped jail, like prison. And, I mean, he escaped jail in Colorado. He went to, like, he traveled to Chicago and then
he didn't murder anyone.
somewhere else. Well,
As far as we know,
Yeah.
he didn't murder anyone while he was escaping. Does that make sense? So before he really settled, he didn't.
so we believe.
So
But
we.
I don't believe that, honestly.
I think he controlled it. That's just,
I think he controlled it
maybe
too.
just till he got to where he really knew that
Because
he
he
was
knew
safe.
that he needed to evade.
If he could have controlled it, he wouldn't have done what he did in Tallahassee.
I think that's why
I think he tried.
did
I think
it.
that's why he did it in Tallahassee.
Because
He controlled it for so long.
He didn't control it for so long. He was only out of jail for 6 weeks.
Ted killed people. What do you think? Weekly? Bi-weekly?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a
Bi-weekly
bi-week podcast.
killing.
We're
I'm
in the
just
bi-weekly.
seriously like.
We're like Ted Bundy.
Oh God.
Okay.
Seriously though, so 6 weeks for him. I mean,
So let's talk about what happens in those 6 weeks. Let's move on to the next part.
okay, so
We're behind. Sorry.
he escapes jail. He gets a hell of a head start because he was really smart about escaping. And he gets to Tallahassee, settles in under a new name, Chris Hagen, and it talks a
He
landlord.
escapes on December 31st. I'm trying to give a timeline here.
Okay.
No, that I was just giving.
Oh, I thought you were going to give a year.
Oh, I'm sorry, of 1977.
Yeah, and he gets to Tallahassee, has settled down, talked the landlord into not letting him not pay rent. Which,
Oh, he paid 2 months in advance. I'm positive.
Okay.
He paid 2 months.
And said that he would have the third month. Yeah, okay. Because he did only have $60 left. But then, homeboy's like, straight chilling in Florida. Get some badmintons and some rackets.
Yeah, he steals credit cards.
and eats nice dinners. He gets a liter of beer every night and watches TV at his apartment and drinks a liter of beer. And
Multiple bottles of wine at dinner.
just living the high life. People, Anne called it like living as a ghost on the campus.
Insane. But so then on July 15th, so that's 15 days later after he's escaped. 15 days after he's escaped, he goes on a mother effing rampage.
Rampage.
So he goes into the, I think it's Chi Alpha Omega.
Chi Omega.
Chi Omega sorority house at FSU. And, man, I have a friend who went to FSU. I just realized that connection. Sorry. And they believe with the intention of killing one specific girl.
But then saw so many opportunities to kill more, he couldn't help himself.
So he murdered
Dirty opportunist.
2 women. This night he murdered 2 women, and there's 3 survivors of that night. Not including the other girls that were in the house. So I'm trying to remember I think there was like 20-something girls in the house.
Yes, so many witnesses. And if you listen to some of those witnesses talk,
It's horrifying.
I just got chills. Some of them say, so Bundy was moving throughout the house quietly, going room to room, assaulting these women, killing these 2 of them. And
I mean, and when I say like survivors, they are like, honestly, this part of the book was the hardest part of the book for me to read.
yeah,
By far. And, I mean, like, these survivors,
it is a living nightmare.
I think it is like, these girls were, all 4 of them, I believe, were like, I mean, when they were found, were doubted that they would, like, survive the, like, ambulance ride, much less anything else. I mean, like, they weren't, it wasn't like he, like, just hit him a few times to make him unconscious, or, you know what I mean? Like, he
He wanted to kill them.
Oh,
I think
for
he
sure.
thought he killed them.
Yeah. He didn't think he left anybody to witness.
No.
Ted was too smart for that. There was no handprints at the scene.
Freaking crazy.
Fingerprints. But here's what's crazy about that. You listen to some of those testimonies of the girls who were not attacked but were there. And there's one girl that had a cough. And she woke up in the middle of the night coughing and said that she went to her door to go get a drink of water out of the kitchen and opened her door, and the hallway light that is usually on was off, which many girls mentioned that night, that the hallway light that's always on was off, which was odd to a lot of people, but nobody really said anything. And she walked out into the hallway, and just this feeling of dread came over her, so much so that she shut her door and did not go get a drink of water.
Unlocked it.
Another girl said that she woke up and she was just hungry. She wanted to go down to the kitchen to get a snack. Went out of her room, got to the stairway down into the kitchen, like where the stairway leads, was at the top of the stairs and felt like something
She says
evil was waiting for her at the end of the stairs and started shaking and ran back to her room.
Always trust your gut.
I mean,
Always
those
trust
two
it.
did.
Yes.
I mean, who knows what would have happened to her if she walked down the stairs.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
I mean, that is just the sort of evil this man.
So, but he leaves the sorority house after maiming, I guess 4 victims in the sorority house, right? And then he goes and nearly kills a last one at a house. I think it's like 6 blocks off
on
of campus.
Dunwoody.
And that one, it's pretty clear that he had to, or not had to have, but he most likely, he knew where he was going. They said how fast he got there, he had to have been planning a direct path from the sorority house to this girl's apartment.
Right. And
Ladies always live on the 2nd floor.
yes, also, they knew. So, just to be clear, there was a target at the sorority house, and they believed that she was his first kill at the sorority house.
And then he laid in wait for the other girls to get home.
Right. Then, from there was a target at the Dunwoody home. So these girls.
You know why I said I prepared for death?
Oh, Rachel got home. Oh, we're on.
Oh, hi, we're on. I prepared to die because Allison's roommate got home.
Anyway,
We're talking
so
about a murder.
yeah, so he gets to the Dunwoody home. So this is a duplex, and on one half of the house, 2 girls live together. On the other half, 1 girl lives by herself. The other 2 girls hear bad things happening, knocking, things falling.
They call the police as a result, although it is slightly delayed because they're not sure what to do.
They tried to call her first. That's why it's delayed. They knew.
They also called a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Always call the cops first.
And, I mean, Ted got away.
Yeah, I mean, it's just horrifying.
She survived,
Yeah, she did.
which
She did.
I just can't.
But ultimately,
Just be on the
it's
other
funny,
side of that wall.
Not
Though.
funny, but it's interesting that Ted chose Florida. Because back then, in the 70s, Florida was one of the few states with the death penalty.
Or did he choose it on purpose because he was ready to die?
I don't know. I don't think he was ready to die or he wouldn't have done so many freaking arguments. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to... So, Ted gets caught eventually. I honestly don't recall how he gets caught.
I don't either.
He got pulled... Oh, he got pulled over.
How
in the
everyone
stolen
gets
van.
caught.
Or the
Yes,
stolen...
he had replaced the license plate. But
He
I mean,
left
let's talk about the
Tallahassee.
badass cop whose daughter was approached by Bundy and felt like something was wrong. Bundy was pretending to be a police officer or a fire department firefighter. And I mean, thankfully her brother showed up and was like, get in the car. And so she got in the car with her brother.
Her brother was going to whoop some ass too, but
yeah.
Ted got away.
Yeah. And I mean, her brother and her just told their dad, and their dad just had a gut feeling. Mm-hmm. This is not good. I don't know what this dude was, who he was. It was not good. And I mean, that played into him getting arrested.
Yeah. But so Ted gets arrested. Then this court scenario, I mean, plays on for shit. Like, he's convicted in 96. That's not the trial. That's conviction. Mm-hmm. It happens in I said 96, didn't I? I'm at 76. And he's not executed until 1989.
Yeah.
He's not executed until 13 years after his... It's really closer to 12, actually.
I mean, he has enough time to make a baby and appeal himself like 400 times, so...
Which none of the appeals were accepted.
Yeah, well, when you get sentenced to death 3 different times for 3 different things...
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess it worked.
Yeah, he lived that long. But, I mean, he like fires... I think it's like he fires over like... I want to say in the 30s, but I think it's actually in the teens, like the upper teens, how many lawyers he fires, public defenders. As he says they're incompetent, this, that, or another. He is so egotistical and caught up in himself that he believes that he's right. And it's insane.
Ugh.
I don't know. I mean, I think Anne did a really good job of telling this story, like the chronologically.
She did an incredible job.
And the courts and stuff, all that stuff. It was interesting. But, I mean, eventually, obviously it didn't work because motherfucker's dead. Convicted, murdered.
Yeah.
He gone.
Yeah.
He's no longer here.
But they also, we never mentioned, they also, like, at least 1 to 2 other times, they found that he was attempting to escape. Like, one in a random, like, check of his room, they found where he had completely sawed through the bar.
Of his jail
cell. Like, where it could be completely removed. And he had it in there with this glue made out of soap. And, like, so he could get out of his cell.
Let me tell you, Anne says in there, I don't really know if that would have worked because Ted had so many obstacles to get through. I think that if his plan would have gone...
Oh, I for sure think he was
he had a
working
plan
on other obstacles.
He had a plan.
So the first escape
he wouldn't have started the sawing of the jail cell until he had every detail marked out.
He always had a plan.
Well, he, like, when he... I'm sorry.
I mean, no. I mean...
When he saw... Or when he, like, the first prison he escaped, it talks about, like, how he escaped through ducts in the ceiling. It talks about, like, how he went through the ducts multiple times and completely planned out everything he was going to do multiple times before he actually left.
Ted would just be chilling in the air ducts.
Like, how insane.
He's
and
smart.
Then would literally crawl back into his cell.
He's fucking genius.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's terrifying.
He did that the first time he escaped too, not with the air ducts, but whenever he would go to the courthouse look at the libraries and stuff there for his whenever he's defending himself.
Yeah,
he talked to the guards into letting him walk up and down the river by the courthouse.
Yeah.
So like he walking up and down that river. He knew how he
was figuring out his surroundings.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
Way too smart for his own good.
Okay, do you guys feel ready to discuss not our favorite, but the most interesting
the murder
kills?
that impacted us.
Berkley, you want to go first?
Okay. Her name was it Janice Ott?
Yes.
She was, I think, about 22 years old, and it was at, do we know what lake this is? It was at a lake in Utah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were thousands and thousands of people at the lake that day.
No, that was in Seattle. I mean, that was when he was still living in Seattle.
Okay.
You keep talking. I'll tell you.
It was in Washington.
Lake Sammamish
Lake Sammamish, yeah.
State Park in broad daylight.
Okay. He approached several women that day and asked for help to
Hitching his sailboat.
Yeah, hitching his sailboat, and like he didn't even have a sailboat there. He wanted them to get in his car and go to his parents' house to go get the sailboat,
Which was all just a big plan.
Yeah. So he comes up to this woman, and she had her bike with her, and he asked her to come with him to go do the sailboat, and of course she said yes. He had his arm in a sling that day, so like he looked super duper like gimpy, and she was never seen again. And I think the thing that bothered me the most about it is that she was married and her husband was out of town, and she had sent him a letter in the mail just a couple days before this happened, before she disappeared. And at the end of the letter it said, what's funny about this letter is that a person could be expired by the time
you
receive this, and she was expired by the time he received it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That, it just chills. It's almost like she knew
Without knowing. Yeah.
Yeah. And that really bothered me. That one really, really bothered me.
It's horrifying.
And my husband would just, like, I just see it as the side of, like, my husband would be, like, devastated.
Yeah.
If something, like, I just disappeared. And, like, did they ever find her body? Or
Yes.
parts?
She was recovered at the Issaquah site. I know I butchered that.
I think it's Issaquah.
Issaquah, that sounds like it could be right. Yes, her as well as Denise Nasland, who was also murdered that same day. It was actually 4 hours. She disappeared from the same park as Janice Ott. 4 hours later. They were recovered at the same site.
Terrifying.
Skeletal remains, which is also important to note. I think everyone except for almost all of Ted's victims were recovered as skeletal remains. Like the ones that were recovered, I think, most of the Tallahassee ones were recovered that day. But I mean, there's probably a couple of the earlier ones that weren't. But everyone he took away, they didn't find until they were completely decomposed. Which is horrifying.
What was your...
You go first.
Okay, well...
I think we have the same one, which is why I say that.
I
It's really
changed
hard for me
mine.
to talk about. Okay. Oh, okay, I'll go then. Oh, I don't want to talk about it because it's so hard. So, I know it's terrible, but I forget which person it was. It was the first girl he killed in the sorority house, who I believe was Margaret Bowman.
Which we believe it was his intended target.
Yes, but I wouldn't swear to that was the first one. But he, like, just destroyed her body. I mean, like, they talk about, this is really hard to hear, but he, like, literally bit her nipple so hard, like, they say it was hanging on by a thread of tissue. Mm-hmm. She had, like, bite marks in her butt that were...
Which is what convicted him.
Yeah. But that, like, completely broke the skin twice. I mean, like top and bottom teeth, like, completely punctured the skin. Just horrifying. I mean, like, he, like, rammed things into her body. It, like, just... I intentionally don't read these kinds of things. Like, I don't read news stories. I don't listen to the news about that kind of stuff just because I have a really vivid imagination. I can picture things really well, and for this type of stuff, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, when when that happened, like, when they described that first body, that wasn't the first body they found, but when they described that body of that woman, I paused the book and I didn't listen for the rest of the day.
I almost kind of wanted to puke.
Yeah, I
was pulling up to pick up Nate, and I was like, oh, not a nipple. I was like speaking out loud. I was like, stop. I was driving. It was so awful.
The same thing.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like, there's no way.
But I just absolutely hated it. I hated it. Okay, Allison.
So I changed mine because I'm a school teacher. So this one, I think, stuck with me the most because of my job. And I can't remember her name. And honestly, like, she deserves her name to be remembered. She was...
I'm looking for it because I read it. The elementary school teacher? Rita Corin?
No.
Oh,
The student. She was about 15. She had a Valentine's Day dance that night. She was really excited. And her high school, from what I imagined during Anne's reconstruction of the story, was on different campuses. Not necessarily, they were all on one campus, but like you had to walk across the parking lot to get to one building from the other, which is very normal in how our high school was set up.
Yes.
So that's really unnerving to me because that was my high school situation. And it says that she was so excited about this Valentine's Day dance, and in her first period class, she had left her purse. So she and another friend went together, left their second period class to go back to their first period class to retrieve the things that they had left because her friend had left something as well. And so I think her name was Janice.
I think it was Lynette Culver, 12, or Susan Curtis, 15. No, it wasn't Susan Curtis. Was this towards the end of his killings or the beginning?
End.
It was Lynette Culver, 12, abducted from Alameda Junior High School in a word I can't say, Idaho.
Yes. And so they go together to their first period class. They retrieve the things that they had left. But this particular girl's friend ran back inside the classroom because she had forgotten something else and left her friend outside. And when she walked back out of the classroom, she saw her friend getting into a white van. And the craziest part is that an adult saw it, the crossing guard saw it, and said, oh, somebody's about to get their ass beat, because that was his thought process. Because he saw a very angry looking, what he assumed to be a dad, shutting the door behind a girl. He was like, somebody's ticked because their daughter got in trouble at school. And he witnessed a kidnapping.
Yeah, it's insane.
Her parents didn't know until 3 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
They thought she was in school.
I couldn't imagine.
School, it should be the safest place you are. It's my job to protect my kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's nobody's fault but Ted's. Let's be real. We're back to that. But, like, as a parent and as a teacher, there should be no safer place.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, that's a heavy note to land on,
Yeah,
but
I don't
that's what
feel
it
good
is.
now.
Well, did you think you were going to feel good? I mean,
Partially, maybe?
at least Ted's dead.
Ted's
Okay, well, we've come to the time in the podcast, much later than normal, but that's okay, where we rate the book. It is 1 cork. If you open the bottle, you didn't really like it, you didn't finish it. 5 corks. If you open the bottle, loved it, drank it all in one sitting, couldn't get enough. So, Berkley, tell me.
I'm going to give it 4.5. I probably would have given it 5 if I had actually read the physical book and could have, like, given it my 100% attention. Like, the whole time.
Okay. So, I'll take that.
I loved it.
I am going to give it a 4. I didn't finish the book. I really wanted to, and I'm with Berkley. I think that if I could have read the book physically and gave it the attention that I wanted to give it, especially since it was my pick, I would have rated it higher.
Okay. You guys are going to be pissed.
That's fine. We know you didn't like it.
I'm going to be honest, I'm giving it a 2. To be fair, I don't think that this is a bad book. But this is my rating. This isn't a rating for everyone. This is how I feel about the book. I hated reading it. I hated every minute of it. I considered multiple times not finishing it, but I'm going to be honest, I didn't know if Ted Bundy was executed or not, and I wanted to know.
Good for you, Brittany.
That literally, you don't find that out until the last 2 hours of the book, and it's an 18-and-a-half-hour book. But I hated every minute of it. I do think it was interesting. I think it was well written. I do think she did a good job of telling a story. Mm-hmm. It was more than...
It was just a horrifying story.
Yeah. I will say I did feel like I was listening to an Audible textbook sometimes.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a math formula? Where are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, it was very logistic. It was...
Which I would think I would like more, but it just lost me.
That's why I would have liked it better, physically.
Yeah.
I don't like to listen to
That's true. But, so, yeah, I'm giving it 2. I would almost say 2.5, but I'm going to stick with the 2. That's how I feel about it.
All right. What the fucks, high fives, and sister citations. I'll start. I have a high five to my therapist, Kelly, from me, obviously. You counseled me, which is your job. Thanks for helping me not to go insane. Keep it up, and please never leave me hanging. Berkley.
Woohoo. I have a high five for my sister Jessica. She just got a new job in New York City and got her bachelor's degree, and I am super duper excited for her. So here's your shout out, Jessica. Woohoo! High five. Love you.
Good job, Jess.
Good job,
do big things.
Jess. I have a what the fuck for Allison.
I knew it was me.
It's from myself and possibly Berkley. Berkley can decide if she wants to be included or not. What the fuck were you thinking just happened? Should I do? Why didn't you warn us we were exchanging gifts tonight? I would have brought y'all's. But thank you. I love it.
I brought their Christmas.
Can you help me out here and give me a break?
I'm sorry. I made them open their presents tonight. So it was very important for me. I was like, I need to open a present right now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well,
next
Berkley,
book.
Are you ready to tell us about the next book?
Okay. Yep. I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
Okay. This one is called White Rose Black Forest by... I don't even know how to say this person's name.
Let me see.
Ian Dempsey?
Ian. I think Ian.
Ian? Okay.
2 vowels go walking. The first one does the talking.
Okay. Do I need to read the synopsis right now? Or do I do that later?
Let's skip it. You have homework tonight. If you want to figure out what we're reading next, go look it up because we're running out of time.
Right, yeah. World War II, 1943.
I'll try and post that on our Twitter
Romance.
and Instagram.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We loved talking to you tonight.
Also, you need to follow us on our Twitter and Instagram, which is @BooksUncorked. And if you would like to shoot us an email about all the things we fucked up tonight, because I know there's plenty, you can reach us at @booksuncorked3@gmail.com. We think you are great. And please follow us on Twitter, Instagram.
We got lots of new followers
We
this
did
week.
get lots of new followers this week. So
we'll give you a shout out next week.
Okay, yeah. We'll give you a shout out next week, we promise. And that gives you a reason to come listen next week.
Yeah.
We promise. We're going to shout you out next week. We're running at 1:23 here. Or an hour. 1:23 here.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.